Hey, it's Scott, and today we're going to talk about the Shapeshifter 15 version 2.0 from ThinkTank. So I just got back from CP Plus in Tokyo for 2 days, where I was carrying this bag around for pretty much the full 2 days, packed as full as I could really realistically want it to be packed. So I feel like I got a good feel for, the ins and outs of this bag. So today I just want to quickly talk to you about some of the things that I liked, some of the things that I didn't like, and then of course I will give you an overview of all of the layout of the bag while I'm showing you what I have packed in here right now. Of course, the headline feature here is how compact you can pack this down to be if you have only a little bit of gear, or of course if it's empty. And for me, that's going to be the way that I kind of mainly take advantage of it, is when I'm storing this bag in between use, because if you have a bunch of camera bags, that space may be limited, and with a larger, more rigid camera bag, you can't really avoid how much space it takes up. So this can pack down very, very thin, and that's going to be a lot easier to store without taking up unnecessary space. If you do only have the basics in here, a camera body, some lenses, but not a whole lot to add to the thickness of the main body, then you can use that double zipper design that they have to get that compact form factor as a kind of anti-theft feature, where, if somebody's trying to take stuff from your bag, they're going to have to go through 2 layers of zippers to get to it, and you're definitely going to notice before then. So if you're worried about that in, like a crowded subway, for example, all you have to do is just close down the double zipper, and you're definitely not going to have anything to worry about. Whether or not you're using that actual maximum amount of compactness that this bag can give you, though, I feel like this is a much more compact way to carry a good amount of gear compared to some of the larger bags that they have, where those bags may give you maybe a little bit more protection, maybe a little bit more storage. But for me, this is the perfect kind of medium ground here, where you can fit a good amount of stuff in here, but it's not this crazy big bulky bag, which on somebody small like me is really quite a nice thing to have, because often they're bags like the Streetwalker series, for example, which is great. It's large and awkward for me, and it's not a bag that I want to carry around the city the whole day. As usual with ThinkTank bags, you get tons and tons of organization and customization on this bag depending on how you want to use it. On the inside and on the outside, you get pockets. You get big pockets, small pockets, you get zippered pockets, non-zippered pockets. You have this space on the front where you can attach a tripod together with a strap which is included. And you can attach that strap on the top in 2 different positions, depending if you want to maintain access to that main compartment or not. And again, that can be another added level of security if you want to strap that over that zipper, so that way if somebody does get to the inside of your bag, they can't really open it completely. You have a pouch on the side here, which you can use for a fairly large water bottle, but it'll very quickly just squish down out of the way if you're not using it. And you can completely remove it if you want to. You can also put, something like the rain cover, which is also included right in here, if it's perfectly, and that's how it comes when you order the bag. You have very comfortable shoulder straps together with a chest clip that will, make it even more comfortable to hold for longer periods of time, as well as a waist support belt. If you really want to get the maximum amount of support out of this bag, you can do that. You have attachment points on that shoulder strap, which work really, really well with something like the Black Rapid Backpack Breathe, which I was using all day while I was walking around in Tokyo, which is a great way to carry both a backpack and a camera on a strap at the same time, and it works perfectly with this bag. There's just lots and lots to it, and like I said, I will show you exactly what there is in terms of organization as I unpack this bag for you in just a moment in the second half of this video. Overall, I found this to be a very, very comfortable backpack, and of course that's one of the main points, right, when you're going to be carrying around, all of this stuff with you. And, weight is weight. If it's heavy, it's going to be heavy, but as a backpack, this is as comfortable or more comfortable than any of the others that I've tried before, so no complaints whatsoever there. Of course, nothing is perfect, and I do have a few minor complaints that, may or may not be complaints depending on what kind of bag you're looking for, but I'll show you all of this in a little bit more detail, actually, when I'm unpacking this bag in just a minute. But because of the layout of this inside of this bag, it means that you have to completely open it pretty wide to get some of the stuff that's towards the bottom of the bag, or else, you have to squeeze in there. And, that can feel a little bit vulnerable when you're in the middle of the city and you're trying to take your camera and your lens out of your bag. So if that's a concern for you where you're going, you may want to think about that. But, this is, for me, more of a bag that I'm going to be taking with me to carry stuff to a location. And then maybe I want to have it with me, but I'm not going to be wanting quick access to everything as I'm walking around. I don't want to quickly change lenses. I don't want to quickly put away and take out my camera. This is something that I'm going to bring with me to be comfortable and to carry, a good amount of gear. And then when I get to the location, I'm going to take out one setup and maybe walk around with that for a while and, still have everything else that I want if I want to get it. But again, it's not a quick access bag. Just a couple more small details about the inside of this bag, which again, I'll show you in just a minute. The sacks where you put your lenses and you put your camera, the camera one is a folding type, so it's a little bit different, but the sacks where you put your lenses, especially, you know, the body of them is pretty stretchy, so you can put in a fairly large lens or whatever you put in there, but the opening itself is not as stretchy as the rest of the body is. So although the body can fit a large lens, getting it into that opening is kind of going to be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. I found that like my 24-105 f4 lens with the lens cap on, it fits in there, but the lens cap is really pushing the maximum limit of that opening. So especially if you have a lens on the top sack right above it, then you kind of have to really squeeze through that opening and just the space of the actual body of the lens that's above it. Again, I'll show you a little bit more in a second what I'm talking about, and you'll see, I think, a little bit more clearly. But I just wish that the opening of that sack were as flexible as the rest of the body was. Maybe all made of the same material. You know, they might have done it the way that they did to maintain the kind of the toughness of it, so that way, you know, it's getting pulled on, it's not going to break down over time. But if they could find a way to make it all of the same material, I think that would have been a little bit easier to use. I've said this before and I'll say it again about ThinkTank bags, but just I wish that the chest strap was removable. You can adjust it, of course, but it's not removable, or at least not easily removable. And just I wish that it was. You know, of course it'd be easier to lose, but you know, that's up to the user. And there are times when I've been carrying this bag a little bit more casually and I just want to be able to remove it, maybe tuck it into a pocket or something so I still have it with me, but it's not just flapping around. Maybe having it always on there is more likely to make me use it, and it definitely does help, but still, again, it's up to the user. And with all of the other things about these bags that are so customizable, I'm just surprised that you can't remove that. You can remove the waist belt, but you can't remove the chest strap. So for me, it would be just a little touch that I really appreciated. So I'm not going to take your time and show you all of the details about all of the different ways that you can set this up, how you can attach tripods and stuff on the outside, because personally, I didn't use it like that yet. And you can see pictures on the website of how it works, and you know, that is what it is. But I'm going to show you what I have in here so you can get kind of a real world example of how this bag has been used. And this is pretty much exactly how I had it set up when I took it to Tokyo over the past couple of days. So we'll start on the outside here, and on the front you have this zipper, which is where you would put your tripod legs if you wanted to put a tripod in the front of the bag here. And in here I just put some tissues because it is allergy season and my nose is killing me. And I also have a portable battery for my phone. And I think that's all I had in there this time around, but it's pretty spacious considering it's just a flat zippered pouch on the front. And then you also have the larger section of that pocket, which can flap open pretty wide. And as you can see here, there is this kind of clear zippered pocket, which I have some medicine in, because again, it's allergy season. Why not, right? And then also down here, just I use this as, you know, I'm storing my plane tickets and other things like that. There's some more. This is my pass from CP+. I got a kick out of this because they gave me the overseas pass, even though I'm not technically from overseas, but you know, whatever. And actually, that's all I put in here. You know, you could put a lot more in here, of course. You have this section here, which is actually a little bit padded. So if you wanted to put things inside of here that are a little bit more protected, you know, from bumps and stuff on the outside of the bag, that's going to give it to you. So that's nice to have even in just this simple pocket. But there's not a whole lot more organization in here besides that. This top pocket also has two sections, so we'll go into the smaller front section first, and it's nothing overly special, it's just a simple pocket, but the back side of it does have this soft material, so if you're putting something in here, maybe your phone, and you don't want it, you know, scratch up the screen, I personally don't really care about that, but that might be a little bit more gentle to it. The front section of this bag does not have that, so it's just a normal material. It's kind of weird that they only put it on one side. I think it would have been cool if they put it on both, but it's just a simple pocket. In here I just put a lens cloth, and this is a spare battery from my GoPro that I just threw in here after it was dead. Gotta charge that up. And then we'll open up the larger section, which will open up in a similar way to the bottom. Has these, you know, so that way it doesn't flap all the way open on you. And inside here you have, again, that front pocket, but this time instead of plastic, it's just a mesh material, so you could put some stuff in there. And I think I actually did have some stuff in there that I took out. Yeah, I actually have my nose spray for my allergies in here, and maybe some other stuff too, but I took that out when I got home. But you could put that in here, and then you have this main part as well as all of the organizational pockets here for pens and stuff like that. What I have in here right now is a bunch of stuff from 9 Solutions. I have some clamps that I brought with me with these magnetic quick mounts on them for things like this ball head that I brought. You know, this could be like a really cool, quick little portable tripod that you could just clamp anywhere, and you could put this on your camera if you want to take a selfie or something. So I brought that with me. Let's put those down. I also have this little flexible mount from 9 Solutions that I use to mount my GoPro to my shoulder strap. I just put it on this clamp here, again with this magnetic quick mount, and then I put that onto my shoulder strap, and I have my GoPro right on there. And I just recorded kind of like my walkthrough of the event. So I'll put a link on screen somewhere to the video, just a quick thing that I put together to show kind of a little bit of what the event's all about if you don't know. And I also have this GoPro hot shoe mount thing in here, which I didn't actually use. Inside of this pocket here, which is, a larger section of that pocket, I have my batteries with, also one of my favorite ThinkTank little accessories, just this battery pouch. I have one charging now, but, throw a couple batteries in here and it just keeps them a little bit more organized. I love having that. I got my headphones. I got a GoPro tool from 9 Dot Solutions on this little strap here, which is just Velcro. You can attach this around, a keychain or something like this, where you want to just have quick access to pull that out there. And that's all I have in there at the moment. But again, this is actually a pretty spacious pocket here. And yeah, all of these clamps and everything fit in here, no problem whatsoever. So I like that pocket. It's a really quick access place. Like I said, this bag is not super quick access bag, but for things that you're going to be taking out a little bit faster, this is a really nice pocket and it gives you a lot of space to put stuff in there. Like I said, on the side of the bag here, you do have this pouch, and I had a drink in here most of the time with me, and this is removable. So if you don't want to have it on here, you can remove it. But I just kept it on because it's mesh and it doesn't take up a lot of space even when there's not anything in there. So it's nice to have. I always like to have a drink with me when I'm traveling, so I'm really happy to see that here. For the larger section, we'll take a look at the back part first, and these zippers here on both of these main compartments do have the little loops. If you want to put a lock through here, you can do that to protect, the more important stuff in this bag. But opening this up, you can see there are kind of 2 sections in here. The top one here is where you would put an iPad, which is what I have in here. And then the larger one fits up to 15.4, I believe. This Shapeshifter 15 will fit, I think, a 15.4 inch computer. I have my 15-inch MacBook Pro, and it fits in here absolutely no problem. And again, even when the main compartment is packed pretty full, the computers and everything fit in here no problem. So this is very spacious, very easy to use, and it doesn't add a lot of extra size to the bag, which is cool. So before I get into this main compartment, you can see here, this is the main zipper that will actually open it, and this is the zipper which you will zip closed if you want to, squish this down to the more compact size. I have a bunch of stuff in there right now, so I'm not going to try and, break the zipper to try and zip it closed. But even, like I said, when you have a just camera body and the lenses in here, you can still zip that closed, and it keeps it a little bit more compact than if you just have it wide open like this. But that's how this works. So opening this up, let me see if I can do this without everything falling all over the place. It opens up quite wide like this, where you can get access to everything, and you kind of have 2 panels in here. You have the front side of the bag, the inside of the front flap here, which has a few pockets in here, which we'll get into in a second, and then you have the main part of the body here. But I guess let's go ahead and get into these pockets and see what I got in here at the moment. This top mesh zippered pocket here, I have my faux Pro here, and again I have that magnetic quick mount on here, so I could just snap it onto those different mounts that I brought with me. Very, very nice and easy setup there. I recommend those parts. And that's all I have in here at the moment. I think I had some other stuff in here again, but I've taken out a few things since I came home, because I came home. And in these bottom sections here, I have a memory card case. And I have, this is my Black Rapid Backpack Breathe strap. I just shoved it right in there. Very compact camera strap to bring with you, and really great if you're carrying a backpack and a camera at the same time. Really recommend that. In this other pocket, I have my Deity D3 Pro microphone and the cable for it, and that fits in there just perfectly. It's a good size for that. So this is the main area of this bag, and as you can see, it's quite different from other bags where, typically you'll have dividers and you drop stuff in, and maybe that will give you a little bit more space to fit more stuff, but this is going to keep everything flatter against the back of the bag, and that's going to really, minimize the profile of this bag, which for me is a big pro, because I'm small and I like to have a bag that doesn't stick out so far and that doesn't feel so awkward to carry around. This feels like a normal backpack when I'm carrying it around, although I have, a few lenses and a camera body in here. I'm going to start with this bottom section here just to show you what I was talking about with the top pouch here kind of blocking the opening, and also just the opening of this not being as flexible as the body, because you can see here the body of this is very flexible, and this is not tight at all against what I have in here, but the opening itself is. So if I had this packed especially a little bit more tight, now I have, not a whole lot in here, but if I had this packed a little bit more full, it's going to be even more of an issue, because this won't be able to move out of the way as easily, but now it's not as much of a problem. So I'm going to show you here as I loosen this. You can see here that the opening does not stretch, although the body does. So the body itself is not completely full at all, but this opening is going to be the limit of what I can fit in there. So let me take my lens out here, and you can see maybe it's a little bit tight to squeeze this lens cap, especially the lens hood, sorry, through the opening. and that is the 24 to 105 f4, and this is going to be my maximum size that I can fit in there right now. So height wise, this can fit a lot more. I believe they can fit a 70 to 200 in here. Let me actually try that right now really quick. So this is the 70 to 200, and let's see. Yeah, that fits in there no problem. Like height wise, I actually still have a little bit of space. And again, the body of it feels like there's more room for the lens hood, but I feel like that would really be pushing it with the size of this opening. So that's kind of a downer. And again, taking this out, even without the lens hood, this is a little bit tricky, like you can see here. I think that just making this opening flexible like the rest of the bag would really, really help with that issue. But anyway, that's what that is. This was not in there originally. It could have been, but it's not, so I'll put that over here. On this side here, you have the camera body, and you have this kind of folding design where this will open with Velcro, and you don't really need to open this to take the camera body out. You can slide it out, but depending on the size, if you have a gripped body or if you have, like the 1DX, for example, you might need to unfold this to get it a little bit bigger. But if you have a smaller body, you can get this, really, really tight to the camera body, so that way it's not taking up that much space. But then you can just, slide it out of the top, so it's easy to get access to that. I have the 5D Mark IV in here right now, but when I went to Tokyo, I had the EOS R recording on it right now, so I put this in just to show you. But let's put that aside and check out what else I have. This top larger pouch, there's a larger and a smaller one here. In the larger pouch, I have right now the 85 f1.4, but again, I had the 16 to 35 f4 in here when I went to Tokyo, again, just to show you. I'm recording with that, so just to show you how things fit in here. I have this to take up that space. And then on this side, can't remember what I have in here. I have the RF 35mm f1. What was it, 1.8, I believe? I don't even remember. Yeah. So that's just a smaller lens. I threw that in. There's plenty of space in there. And yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions about this bag or any other bags, let me know down below and I will definitely get back to you. If you liked this video or found it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to see more in the future, and as always, thank you for watching.